Right now, it's very scary. It's very scary.
A shocking school shooting at the Cummings K-8 school in Memphis at the end of September. Shocking to us, but perhaps not so shocking to district leaders like Superintendent Joyce Ray, Director of School Security Carolyn Jackson, and Chief of Safety and Security Gerald Darling. In a Safe Schools Act grant application to the State Department of Education that I obtained, district leaders documented a steady rise in aggressive behavior by students and weapons being brought onto campus. It shows 10 incidents in the first week of school, 22 the next week, and a steady rise until there were 36 incidents in week 6, 31 more incidents in week 7, and then the Cummings shooting happened in week 8, one day after the application was submitted to the state.
We don't have enough.
Teachers Union Director Keith Williams blames Ray and his lieutenants for not sharing that information with parents or teachers.
We've had more assaults on teachers this year than I've ever heard of in my 44 years in this business. And we've had, they'll move them to other schools and that kind of thing. But the very idea that children have the propensity to assault, to attack, to hit, strike, to threaten, to kill a teacher. And that is certainly going on in Shelby County schools.
In the narrative section of that application, which I also obtained through a public records request, district leaders again document the rise in violent incidents at schools. They even explain why it's happening, blaming it on the pandemic, writing, "Data reflects student behavior was affected after being inside with little movement due to COVID-19, resulting in a high number of fights in schools this year, with a high number of weapons being located during school and at after-hour school athletic events." As part of the application process, Ray and Jackson had to sign assuring the state that what they put in the application was accurate. Both signed on the dotted line September 28th, 49 days after the start of school and 2 days before the Cummings school shooting. While Williams says Ray and his team might have lacked transparency with parents and teachers, they were fully transparent with the state. Why? Maybe because the state requires transparency to get the grant money. And it's a lot of money. Here's how much Safe Schools Act money Shelby County Schools got last year.
$2,325,000 and change. And obviously with the match, there's 25% added onto that.
And Byford says you can add $1.6 million that carried over from the previous year, which was a virtual learning year. Records I obtained show Shelby County Schools asking for millions of dollars in Safe Schools Act money from the state for the past few years. More than $600,000 in 2019, $1.1 million in 2020, and more than $2.5 million in 2021. Money that can be used for everything safety related, from school resource officers to security cameras and walk-through metal detectors. And records I obtained from the school system show there was no resource officer assigned to the Cummings school and no walk-through metal detector either. Williams says local schools are more vulnerable to security breaches because educators are pulling double duty as security officers.
They ought to be the ones to search, to verify, to look at weapons. That should be on the security team and not on teachers, certainly not on teachers. We've had several teachers to be hurt in that process, going inside of purses, going inside of pockets and that kind. And they don't want to do it, but they are being made to do that for the security of the school.
Every 5 years, the state audits the district to see if they're using state dollars wisely in securing local schools. 3 years ago, Shelby County Schools was in compliance.
In 1819, we found no violations. When we do find violations, there's corrective actions involved, and it can jeopardize funding if you don't correct those things.
Each year, local school districts make assurances they are using Safe Schools Act money wisely. The Cummings school shooting put the Shelby County school system on the state's radar in a way that it had not been for years. With millions of dollars in Safe Act grant money on the line, the state says it will audit the newly renamed Memphis Shelby County school system in the 2023-24 school year. In Memphis, Ernie Freeman, Fox 13 investigates.